Well, hey everybody, it's Wes Hagen here at Canopy Vineyards and Canopy Estate Wines in the beautiful Santa Rita Hills, Lompoc, California, Central Coast, United States. And I'm here with my buddy Max, and he's one of our sheepdogs. I'm going to talk to you guys today on our normal Monday talk a little bit about sort of generalizing what we do in the vineyard to grow grapes here at Canopy. One thing, I look through all my notes about all the stuff that I've done previously, and what I haven't done is kind of run you through sort of fast kind of what we do in our cultural practices at Canopy. We're a little bit behind this year just because we have so much fast growth. We had a very warm winter, we had very minimal rainfall, so as a result, we've got this huge amount of growth, and our crew is sort of struggling to catch up and to get everything done in a timely manner, because normally we would have this kind of growth in mid-June. I've seen July canopy not as big as what we've seen. I'm not saying we're at a July level of growth. We're probably about 2 to 3 weeks early, and that's probably being conservative. But I wanted to show you real quick what the vine looks like before cultural practices and after. Let me give you first of all, kind of the breakdown of sort of the philosophy on what we are doing. The whole idea here is to guide this vine into these shoot wires to produce basically a straight vertical canopy to absorb sunlight like a solar panel. So it's going to take that sunlight, turn it into carbohydrates during the growth cycle. But right about now, this vine is going through a kind of an interesting physiological change where it's going to stop growing because it recognizes it has about 12 leaves per cluster, and it'll change its production from photosynthesis from basically the carbohydrates for growth into the production of sugar for the grapes. And why would a grapevine want to produce sugar? Well, it wants to produce sugar to make the grapes delicious, to attract animals to eat the fruit, so the animals will go to a different part of the environment, drop the seeds, and basically when it defecates, drop the seeds in a nice little pile of fertilizer so that vine can start growing someplace else. So the idea of a grapevine is very simple. Grow up a tree, steal its light, use the light to produce sugar, use the sugar to attract animals either by its freshness or by its fermentation, by basically the promise of intoxication. So you can eat the fruit ripe, you can eat the fruit fermented, and either get the calories or the intoxication that nature uses to guide the animals to the fruit to spread the seed. So you can see we've got kind of a big mess here, and I'm going to stand up a little bit or move back here so you guys can see. So the first thing we're going to do, and you may lose my head, which probably is not such a bad thing. I'm going to show you real quick. We're going to take all of these shoots, we're going to separate them, we're going to give them each its own niche space, and we're going to put all of these shoots up into these shoot positioning wires. Okay? I don't know if you can see this one, but just in case, I'd like it to look tidy. So basically we're giving the vine the opportunity to form this sort of straight solar panel. Now you can obviously see, as soon as I've opened up this canopy, you can really see the fruit. And that's really nice because not only can we see the fruit, but the sun can see the fruit. So if you're going to remember one thing from today's lesson, getting sunlight on this fruit without burning it is going to improve its character. It's going to get rid of the pyrazine character. Methoxypyrazine is basically a compound within all grapes that gives the grapes sort of a vegetal or herbaceous aroma. Green bell pepper, olives, that kind of stuff. So we want to get rid of all of those flavors. The way we do that is we put sunlight on the fruit. So the more sun on the fruit, the better the quality of the character of the wine is going to be. It brings out sort of floral character in white wine and high-toned fruit character, black and red berry fruit in Pinot Noir. So you can see these grapes, if you look, you can see they're just finishing their process of flowering. You can see some of the flowers still here around these berries. These berries look like they've done a pretty good job of going through the pollination. You can see here there's a couple of aborted berries here, but I only got maybe 20 berries off of 3 clusters. So I would say that gives us about a 90 to 95% pollination rate. So our clusters are going to be pretty heavy this year, maybe 5 clusters a pound, which is the lightest clusters in the Pinot Noir world, but it's a good sized cluster for us. And we're looking at about 35 clusters per plant. So the next thing we're going to do, once we kind of have an idea of how much fruit is out here, we're going to go through and look to see if we can find any areas where 2 shoots are emerging from the same position. And if we see what we're calling doubles or weak shoots, this is a weak shoot, not much fruit, not going to do us much good. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to be taking out the double shoots Here's another double shoot. And yes, I am pulling off crop. And that is us losing wine, but gaining quality and gaining basically an open canopy to basically allow the vine to produce the best fruit possible. So once we've removed some of these shoots, we're going to remove weak shoots. We're going to take out some shoots that are just kind of getting in the way. Anything that's underperforming or too small. And what you can see has happened now is you can see through the canopy. Notice now that the canopy gaps are almost 60%. You can see through a good amount of this canopy through the other side of the vine. And why that's important is you want wind and sunlight to penetrate the canopy. If the canopy, remember during photosynthesis, these leaves are giving off a lot of water vapor. So the water vapor can get stuck inside the canopy and make an environment that's very conducive to the growth of rot and mildew. So we want to get rid of a lot of the leaves and a lot of the congestion, allow air and wind and sunlight to move through the canopy to improve the character of the wine chemically, to get rid of the pyrazines, to encourage the production of terpenes and monoterpenes. These are phenolic characters that improve the quality of the wine and give it those wonderful flavors. So proper canopy management is absolutely key. Then we'll take a look to see if the fruit is pretty well exposed to sunlight between 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock. It's about 9 o'clock in the morning right now. So you can see we have almost 100% sun exposure. That's good because 9 o'clock sunlight, even in a heat wave like we had last week, is pretty strong. So we want to make sure that there's enough sun on the fruit to improve the quality of the fruit, but we don't want so much hot sunlight in the hottest parts of the afternoon that'll burn the fruit. So you'll notice I haven't done any leaf pulling on the afternoon side. So the afternoon side is going to be a little more protected. The morning side is going to be a little more exposed. And the idea here is to continue to allow the sun to influence the character and the quality of the fruit, to open up the canopy, and to get all of these shoots tucked up in a vertical position format so they won't flop back down and shade the fruit later. So again, the take-home messages are we're ahead this year. We're sort of in a drought. We're doing a lot of irrigation. Because we've had such heat waves, the vines woke up early and the heat has caused these vines to grow very fast, very quickly. So right now we're going to be hustling through the vineyard, doing about an acre a day with about 4 guys, and basically within the next month get everything sort of looking like this. So everything is nice and tucked, nice and organized, and it's a little bit protected. We want a couple of these little sombrero leaves to kind of hang down and protect the grapes during the afternoon. But in general, we want to expose the fruit and also expose these positions for next year to make them more fruitful, because these buds are determining whether they're going to produce fruit next year by virtue of sunlight on the interior of the vine this year. So everything that happens with the vine is a 2-year cycle. So next year's fruitfulness is being dictated right now by how much sun is penetrating this canopy as well. So not only is this going to improve the character of the wine in 2014, but we're also going to have an influence of how well we do this year in our canopy management by virtue of how much fruit we'll get in 2015. So everything's in a 2-year cycle. Whenever you're working in the vineyard, you not only have to think about what's happening to influence this year's vintage, but also what's happening to influence next year's vintage. That's a quick and dirty summation of sort of what we're doing in the vineyard right now as far as the canopy management, looking at the clusters, looking at the fruit, seeing how things are shaping up. These clusters will start, berries will start growing. We'll have bunch closure here in the next few weeks, which I'll probably end up showing you. And then probably around, hopefully, August 1st, we'll start seeing, or mid-August would be great, we'll start seeing these vines going through veraison and changing color and producing some beautiful red color that we're used to seeing in those Pinot Noir berries. Then we'll have to watch out for those birds coming to get them. So that's pretty much a quick and dirty summation of what we're going on. If you have questions, leave them in the comments. Other than that, have a great week, and we'll see you on Monday.